caught my wife cheating. TLDR, how I, 38M, caught my wife, 36F, cheating, blackmail, mental breakdown and confrontation. Sorry this is long. So my backstory, I am a recovering addict, 4 years sober, from a long line of addicts. Add to that I was molested by an older girl in elementary school. So needless to say I have some self-esteem issues and issues around sex. I am very involved in therapy and have learned a lot about myself. Her backstory, in the last 5 years her dad has died, mother had a mental break and can no longer care for herself. And both of her living grandparents are very ill and likely won't live much longer. On top of that we are going through fertility treatments again after a miscarriage. Add in a little autism spectrum as well. So she had plenty of reasons to be in a dark place. We met in the military, both discharged now, and have a 4-year-old daughter. We always had a very active sex life. My ex was rather submissive and rarely initiated, but for most of our relationship had never refused me. We both worked in childcare. Where we live is crazy expensive, so I mostly worked night shifts to minimize care need. This means that most of the time we were ships passing in the night. Needless to say this had severely put a crimp in our intimacy, communication, hell it borderline broke our marriage. We had definitely pulled away from one another. My wife rarely wanted sex and almost never said yes when I initiated. She gave 100 different excuses: tired, too much on her mind, not showered, etc. One day we had the whole day off together and while making the bed and actually being playful for once. At this point we had not had sex in 3 months. I picked her up and playfully tackled her onto the old sheets. One of her reasons for no sex is she didn't want to change the sheets/new sheets. I had done this 1,000 times before and she usually loved it and it really got her in the mood. This time she screamed "get off me," and punched me in the eye. It didn't hurt. I am 6 feet 3 inches 245 and done MMA my whole life. She is not even 5 and petite. But the look of disgust on her face messed me up. Add to the fact I was assaulted as a kid, I had nightmares for weeks, couldn't get it up when she tried to initiate as an apology. She gave me all kinds of gaslighting bull and excuses, but it just didn't sit right with me. It was the look of disgust, I couldn't get over it. I was convinced she was cheating and did the whole snooping thing, dug through all her social media, apps, email, etc. But found nothing. I confronted her with how disconnected we were and checked out. How much I loved her and wanted to save your relationship. We go to counseling and start communicating better. Our relationship really started to turn around and I was so hopeful. Then about a month later I am cleaning her car for her and found a second cell phone. Same lot code and bingo, massive texts and emails. Apparently she has a master and apparently he has been blackmailing her for sex. Apparently she had been helping some of her clients hide assets from the IRS and state tax collectors. He caught her and wanted sex to stay quiet. I can see her rationalizing this and just going along, but I don't know why she didn't tell me. I would have moved heaven and earth for her. Next question I always get is, what was he into that was so bad? He had a cuck fetish, he wanted to cuck me. Dude is maybe 5 feet 8 inches, overweight, 45, with maybe a 5-inch member. He would supposedly finish in her mouth and send her home to make out with me. Finish in her vagina and have her ask me to go down on her. Shit like that. Even took her to sex parties. So I talked to a lawyer, got everything in motion, took a night off work without her knowing and followed them to one of their parties. Came into the party and found what room they were using for people to watch them. I brushed some sweat off his nose and he got sleepy. Dropped the divorce papers and my ring on the bed and walked out. Went no contact with her and move out. Then started all the texts and calls. So sorry, I want you back, don't throw our marriage away BS. Told her to talk to my lawyer unless it had to do with our daughter. My lawyer came to me with this deal that my ex wants to meet with me face to face, and if I do so she will sign an uncontested divorce and give me primary custody, the house, and leave my pension/retirement alone. In my state, if you have a penis you lose it divorce in court, so this was a godsend as I didn't want to lose any time with my daughter. In the meantime I have really focused on myself. Hit the gym hard and doing extra time at my MMA gym in the best shape of my life. Still heartbroken, I love this woman and if I am honest still do. That's partly why I don't want to meet her. Frankly, if it wasn't for the feeding me his cum bullshit I could have seen myself forgiving her. So we meet. She looks like death warmed over. According to her sister, who I am still close with and handles custody handoff, she just stays in her room and cried. She is seeing a therapist, has turned herself into the IRS and is cooperating with them. Gives me a timeline of her affair and begs for us to get back together. I am her life ECT. I got so angry listening to shit bull. She says she will do anything for me. I tell her never contact me or talk to me again. All communication will go through her sister or lawyer. So long story short, she blows up our marriage, loses her accounting credentials for life, pays some massive fines, ends up living in a spare room at her sister's working a dead-end minimum wage job. I got my retirement, the house and primary custody of my daughter. She only gets her 1 day a week. I have my bad days, but I am in better shape than ever and two very lovely ladies in FWB situations. I never had any of the ego hit that I have read many spouses go through as I am so obviously superior to this scumbag, but I don't know if I will ever fully trust another woman again. My advice to all of you going through this. Stay strong, respect yourself, know their actions have very little to do with you, and you will get through this. Now let's look at the comments. Good for you, man. Now that's what I keep telling people, stop blaming or taking fault for your partner's actions. If they cheat on you, you had nothing to do with it, you didn't make the decision or push/ask them to do it, it's all on them, and the sooner they realize it the better. Good for you, for sticking to your decision. I only wish I had your determination and focus. I screwed up and took her back, only to have my heart broken even worse, the second time.